Hi guys, this is Botworld Adventure and this is Ptash. In this video I wanted to talk about the early stages of the game. If you're a beginner, you might wonder which bots are good and which are not fine. And at the start of the game you face common bots only and few special ones. And I would like to talk about all of that. So let's go. The first bots we encounter in the game are obviously the white rarity bots, so these common bots. And I wanted to talk a bit about them, because you might face a question: which one do I upgrade most, which one is the highest priority, which one will benefit me the most. So you can see here that I've sort of placed these white rarity bots from left to right. So here you can see the bots of common rarity. And I've decided to get to the top the bots that are, I think, the most viable to use and worth to upgrade further. Because, of course, as you progress in the game, at the beginning you will upgrade them all also with Chomp and Icicle slightly, if you just have no other options to put into your roster. But I think that these bots can be used all up to level 30, with exception of Barry, I would say. Barry doesn't really make sense to me at level 30 in any case, in any scenario, so maybe I just a bit too much of that. But he's quite good at the beginning, but maybe I will pick him like here, get him out of this place. And yeah, so I would say that Yankee, Lobby and Slash are the bots that you can get to level 30 and use them well. And here's the thing, Yankee isn't the best at the beginning, so only upgrade him if you plan to use him later in the game. Because at the beginning he's quite weak, but Yankee is good because with 4 alt cooldowns, which aren't hard to find, you can basically stunlock a single enemy. So if you place him well during a battle, he can defeat even a stronger opponent, because the opponent will be constantly stunned. So that's where his power comes from. He's also having a quite good AI that can make him more tanky or can make him deal more damage, so use what you prefer. And he's just reliable. I feel like he's not the best bot by any means in the game, but for a common bot I think he's the best bot out of common bots overall. But again, if you don't plan to use him later in the game with alt cooldowns, it's probably not worth upgrading. So he's a tricky one. You have to decide. Lobby is personally I don't use him, but I know that Lobby is quite decent. He has very reliable damage thanks to the fact that he's quickly throwing his auto attack, and he doesn't have ultimate. I mean, he has, but it's also quick. So a lot of bots suffer from the fact that their ultimate has a long wind up, long animation. For example, Longshot. Sometimes I wish Longshot didn't have an ultimate, because it doesn't do much more damage, but it can fail easily. If someone interrupts him, he will try to make that ultimate again, and he's just wasting time instead if he was just shooting. Also, Lobby is a splasher that has, like, on ultimate he has the mechanic that puts enemies together, which means that you don't have to use like chainer for Lobby. You don't need to use stuff like I don't know, black hole or other abilities for Lobby in order for him to do what he's supposed to do as a splasher, which is quite good. For example, Mort in comparison is pretty bad, because you need to use some other way to bring enemies together so that Mort can deal with them all. Not the case here. There's a chance that the Vortex will do the job for Lobby, and it also can stun enemies, so it's pretty good. So yeah, Lobby is definitely one of the best common bots. Slash has a very high damage, so if you put him to the high level he will do his job, but he's not the strongest. I wouldn't say that he's very strong. He really suffers. Look, he has level 27 and he has such little HP. He really only is good when properly facing like a sniper or splasher. and the ones that usually, you know, run away instead of trying to fight with him. Because yeah, if anything fires at this slash, he will be instantly gone. So yeah, it's a good bot, but very situational. Like, you can easily fail at using him. He can quickly die, so he's on the like middle range of these common bots when it comes to being good. Then we have Rocketeer. I feel like Rocketeer is a bit underappreciated. It's definitely a good bot you can safely, in my opinion, use. So he's a splasher that's also sort of a sniper. He has quite high attack speed. He's also very fast, so it's not a splasher that will get you know, destroyed by any brawler or tank that won't stun him for long enough in order to defeat him, because his speed allows him to stay safe. And even more, he has one of the few, I think it's the only bot in common rarity that has also a secondary ability, which is knockback. So he's very safe. He has knockback, which stuns. He has decent DPS. Also, his rocket launcher knocks back enemies. So it's not only damage, and it also allows him to be safe. And yeah, Rocket Swarm is alright. So I feel like the Rocketeer is one of the better common bots, and one which isn't very appreciated. And look at that cool mustache, although I love wild Rocketeer design, just so cool. So that's it when it comes to viable common bots, and why I think that not all of them are viable. So you have Barry, and Barry is fine for a start when it comes to the game, because you are using things that make Barry quite useful. So usually at the start of the game you use things like Gust, for example, maybe Hasty Ground, a very important ability which is Proximity Translocator. And if you put Barry in a proper position, he's doing the tanking job properly. But later in the game you replace these, usually these abilities with something else, something stronger. And then tanks don't really do their job, because they are in a random place and you don't have ability to put them in a proper place. This is why tanks fall off in the late game. For a start, Barry is good, but later he's sadly not that good. That's why I think that Barry is overall not very viable. You can of course upgrade him at the beginning of the game, but you need to be ready to replace him with something stronger. I love Barry, but sadly it's not how the meta works in the game right now. Chomp is weird to me because he has a high damage, like a sniper should do, but he's not very accurate, and you feel like he does a lot when he's close to the enemy because of that, but he's also instantly dying when he's close to an enemy. Chomp is very dangerous when you find him in the wild packs, because a bunch of Chomps will quickly disintegrate your bots. But if he's single and threatened, he's not really good. I don't think it's a viable bot. You can use him if you really want to, and he's probably okay in the later stages of the game. But I would head towards some other snipers and save my sniper gyros for something like Big Shot, maybe even Long Shot. Pupil should be fine too. Yeah, just about any other sniper, Bullseye as well, is just so much better than Chomp. And Chomp itself isn't bad, but there is so many better choices later in the game that it's really not making sense to spend resources on him. Finally, Icicle. Icicle to me seems like the option which is closest to being viable out of these three, because Icicle is an evader, and evaders are usually good because they can tend to themselves, are quite safe, and it's hard to fail at using them. Icicle is also quite weird because he has some of the splasher attributes to him, especially when it comes to his ultimate, which allows him to attack many enemies. His slow can be decent, but why he isn't viable? The main thing about Icicle is that he slows enemies in order to be safe and attack them. This isn't the best, because a lot, and probably in the future more and more bots will have abilities that teleport and stuff, like look at Comet. Look at Meteor. Look at Nipples. Look at Nibbles. All of these guys simply target Icicle, jump at him, and he has nothing to do. So that's why I don't think that Icicle is viable, because there's simply no way for him to be of use in the later stages of the game. So it's not really worth to spend precious resources early on him. Also, another reason is that you get Dune Bug quite quickly, and Dune Bug doesn't slow enemies, alright, but he's just so much faster and safer, and doesn't really need to slow enemies if he's so fast. So this is also another reason you quickly should get a Dune Bug, which is just better. So this is a bot team for a beginner who took a ram. I feel like you need a bit of that further melee presence, so you either go for Slash, Yankee or Barry. I would probably advise the most Slash or Yankee, because you have that ram which is very strong, and you should focus early on upgrading him the most because he has such good stats. And then you should really focus on getting Longshot and Dune Bug online. That's because ram will, you know, deal with the tanks or brawlers quite well, so you really need something ranged. Then we have Rocketeer and Lobby. These are bots that should do quite fine. Rocketeer should do fine by himself. He has a lot of, you know, evading in his blood. If you want even more melee, you can swap Lobby with like Yankee, or maybe you have Brute already, then it would be the best probably to swap him with Brute. Now if you went for Froggy, the recommended team comp looks completely different. We try to enable Froggy. Froggy is a combination of an evader and splasher because of the alt, which is, you know, area of effect. So we want stuff that will bring enemies together. That's why I took Lobby. And that's why I think Barry will be good with him early as well, because Barry can, you know, take attention of some bots and for a long time keep them in one place, which is good. If we are focusing on getting enemies in one place, that's why I also took Brute, which has a very powerful spin if you place him in a lot of enemies. And I've got Flamer, which obviously has the flame field, which is also good. I think this team should work best with Froggy. Now, if you've got Chomp, I think it's overall the worst option, but he's still decent, especially if he has often his ultimates, so you need to really get these ultimate cooldowns, at least the first versions, right? With him, I feel like you can enable Chasers. Chasers usually aren't that good, but with Chomp and with crowd control, they are decent. That's why I also took Lobby, which has a very good ultimate for Chasers. And then we've got, in general, Longshot and Rocketeer, which are sort of snipers, both, really. And they will just cause havoc as Chomp, Slicer and Slash do their job. Lobby hopefully will keep enemies in place. This is something that I would go for like levels from 1 to 15, you know, 14, sort of this part of the game. So that was it, guys. This is the guide for the early stages of the game, and let's try and use it. But it's very hard for me because look at the level of my bots. Sadly, I wish we've got a testing ground in the game where we could set a level of bots to like all 20 and then face some enemy which has also level 20 bots only, but it's not the case, so it's really difficult for me, sadly, to properly test all of these, you know, recommended loadouts. I plan to do a second account actually of Botworld Adventure to start from scratch, and then to, you know, remind myself of the early gameplay and also bring you more tips from a perspective of a player who played for a long time. So yeah, if I fight with someone, it will be not fair, but that's what I would try to do. I would try to put like Lobby somewhere here, Chomp to save that Lobby, and maybe Rocketeer should just help my boys from afar. So yeah, because I can move enemies around, or my guy, I could get them together so Lobby does his job. And he does it well, as you can see. This combo is definitely viable, I feel like. Of course, the fact that my Chomp is such a high level helps a lot, so yeah. But after I've used my abilities on enemies, I can use my chasers to finish sort of them off. And look at my Rocketeer. As I said, he's doing quite fine. He was only level 20 all of this time, and he managed to live through all of that, so it's not that bad. This video is quite long, so I won't be testing the other loadouts because it's not even proper testing if there is no equal levels. But yeah, guys, I hope I helped you a bit. This is from a perspective of a higher level player. Early in the game, these bots that I considered quite bad can be good, but remember that I have in mind how they perform later in the game. These were the bots, the common bots that are quite good. And next video will focus on special bots, and mainly special bots with a mix of rare bots, which are the best for the later stages of the game, which ones to focus on. Yeah, you know the drill. Thanks guys for watching and see you next time.